Welcome to Finding Monster Right, bitch. The show about monsters. The show about finding monsters, right? I'm so sorry.
Right, bitch.
It sounds better when you do it for some reason. I'm not sure why.
That doesn't feel right. I'm Freddy Adam.
I'm Allie. In my dreams, I'm beautiful and bad. And today's episode is, as you may have guessed, from my bad attempt at jokes, One Night at Freddy's.
More like Nightmare on Underwhelm Street.
I heard that title and I was like, damn. Oh, shit. You ain't ready for this one.
Yeah. We are throwing the gauntlet down. We're throwing down the four-bladed gauntlet.
Mm-hmm. We got a bone to pick with Freddy.
We're calling you out, Freddy.
We're calling you out, Fredward. Tell him our list of grievances with Freddy.
Well, Freddy's a little bitch.
Oh, shit.
He's a master projection, is what he is. And we're going to take him down, not unlike they do in Dream Warriors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what's up.
We're the new Dream Warriors, is who we are.
Don't want to dream no more. So, this got aggressive.
In celebration of episode 113, we're doing an episode on Jason's enemy. The person he versus is Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, 100 episodes after Friday the 13th. After the Friday the 13th episode. Folks, much like our Little Mermaid episode from last year, this episode is recorded around the time the polls close on election night, and I am very sleep deprived, although there's a reason this year.
Yes, this year, while in election season, you've decided to engage Freddy Krueger in a battle of fists.
Yeah, a battle of wits, a battle of fists. In dreams, they're all the same because your brain is your fists and your fist is your brains.
Let's talk a little bit about the Nightmare on Elm Street's movie canon, because I know I myself am not crazy familiar with it as I am things that have pirates in it.
Mm. Well, I mean, the first one does have a pirate in it.
What?
Yeah. The first Nightmare on Elm Street is the film debut, funny you should say that, of one Johnny Depp.
Ah, right. Yes. He was, but before anyone knew him as Tonto.
He wears a crop top jersey, and I forget everything else. So, watching A Nightmare on Elm Street felt like filling in, it just felt like everything clicked into place. Like, oh, this is what everything was referencing the whole time.
Yeah, right. So it was your Rosetta Stone for understanding all the memes associated with Freddy.
Yeah, ordinarily, I talked about this on the Jason episode a lot, but, I'm predisposed against slasher movies, mostly because the first ones I watched were Freddy vs. Jason and the original Halloween. The original Halloween I watched, and I was like, oh, this is great. What was I thinking about? But then I watched Freddy vs. Jason again, and I was like, oh, this is bad. This is bad, actually.
Oh, this is what it succumbs to. I better not keep tuning in.
Yeah. Well, also I watched Freddy vs. Jason because I did 1 year ago as Freysen Vorkrugs for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
The mask, the hat, the glove, the machete, and a jacket and a striped sweater, and I was set.
Yeah, I recall everyone caught on when you were going out like that. Everyone's like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. People were like, I was in a grocery store and people were like, oh shit, it's Freddy and Jason at the same time. And I was like, yeah, you get it, random person.
Were you purchasing a Tangelo?
At the grocery store.
Or any other, hybrid fruits?
Oh, okay. Wow. But no, so...
I'm thinking of, two things at the same time.
So, based on the fact that the only Freddy Krueger essential property I had seen up until recently was Freddy vs. Jason, I kind of thought Freddy's deal was the same as Jason's and also kind of Michael Myers.
He does not behave.
Correct, yes.
He's not a silent killer like them, or
Yeah.
or quiet killer, and doesn't stalk around and beat people up in a large way. He's all about the mental troubles.
Well, no, see, I thought that he just killed teens who were getting a Randy baby to continue let's get out of the Michael Myers swamp really quick. So this is not true. He does not just kill teens who have sex for having sex. He kills the children of the people who lynched him for killing children. Jason was, like, legitimately wronged. Freddy Krueger is just an asshole.
Yeah, right. No, he's a bad boy.
He's a bad boy. But no, I really
and he deserves this.
Yeah. I really liked Nightmare on Elm Street, though. It was good. I hated the ending. It's ambiguous, and that ambiguity kind of sucks the meaning, like the message of the movie kind of gets sucked out in the process. The fact that all of these movies' Wikipedia synopses all end with the phrase, hinting that Freddy may not have been defeated after all, sucks. It sucks the moon right out of the fucking sky. Like, I hate it.
Yeah. I think that might be my least favorite aspect of slasher movies.
Yeah.
Is the fact that you're never like finished telling a complete story. And there's always like, oh, but that guy, the villain of the film, the guy who you're running the entire movie away from, no, he's still around.
Yeah. Why couldn't they do that with Killmonger is my question. Anyway, Dream Warriors was the next movie I watched. I skipped Freddy's Revenge because Dream Warriors was pretty close to our premise. I probably should have gone back. I'll go back and rewatch all of them, but I watched the Dead Meat recaps of all of them, so I know the plots, at least.
Yeah. Dream Warriors takes place in a psych ward.
Yeah. I would say Dream Warriors is a little bit better than the original, but it's close.
Yeah. I that was the only one I watched, and I enjoyed a lot of the effects. I think no kidding. Like people talk about how wondrously gorely glorified these movies are, and yeah, no, I love seeing Freddy like come out of a TV and then take all kinds of different way shapes and shoot tongues around.
He does a lot with tongues. Freddy Krueger is a very tongue-based character.
Yeah, I guess that's the only part of him that like is still kind of unchanged.
Yeah.
Despite being like a burned zombie on the outside.
Oh, speaking of tongues, the other two tongue-based instances of that I can think of with Freddy Krueger, that's fucking weird. The phone in the original and a bit in New Nightmare, both of which have to do with Nancy.
Yeah, you mentioned there's this Nancy trilogy, correct?
Yeah, Nancy Thompson is the protagonist of the first movie. She's one of the finest examples of the final girl trope, although that's kind of debated for whether she fits the bill. She comes back in Dream Warriors, and she comes again in New Nightmare, in a way. And that was really good. I liked her as a protagonist. She actually had personality and a character, which is a lot better than I can say for all of these, like, one-shot Elm Street characters, where it's like, he does karate, but also does marionettes. Or it's like, she's afraid of bugs, but also loves exercise. She loves swimming, but also she works for the school newspaper. And it's like, stop.
It's funny because they include, like, but also, so that they have more dimensions. But there's only just the one more dimension.
Right, yeah. Dream Warriors also brings up a bit of Freddy lore, where he was, where, the way you're born is indicative of how evil you're gonna be.
Yeah, right. So if you were, I don't know how best to describe Freddy's birth, but it was not good.
No, a nun named Amanda Krueger was locked in an insane asylum with 100 inmates, and horrible things happened, and she wound up becoming impregnated. Hence, Freddy Krueger is known as the bastard son of 100 maniacs, which is a good title if you don't think about that whole backstory.
Yeah, it's one of like the clown prince of crime, like deals.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, Prince, is there a clown king? Like, what? No, but when you actually, When you actually break it down, it's like, oh no, shit, that's actually really fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the why he's so evil, like in his nature, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Why he can command supernatural powers.
Right. When I was born, I did not come out crying. They had to slap me before I would cry. So I don't know what that makes me, but that's probably also makes me dream demon. The next movie I watched was called Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. It's 6 in the series. I skipped 4 and 5 because, like, whatever, and also there was a lot of gross fetus stuff in 5. Dead Meat ranked The Final Nightmare the second worst and called it the most entertainingly bad of the bunch. 5 was just so bad it's not even good, and I figured I should experience the franchise's low points instead of just looking at all the best movies, and boy, that happened.
Yeah, I assume by 6 that, like, that no one really cares about introducing any lore in a fun way, right?
Yeah, well, it's like, the Power Glove scene made me want to throw up and die. There's a scene with the Power Glove. It's a Looney Tune.
For you Zoomers out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Power Glove was a glove-based controller for the NES. The first Nintendo Entertainment System. Alright, that's the context.
Nintendo is a company that makes your Pokemon. So
they started making trading cards 150 years ago,
and that's what they still do. So, what else does Freddy do in this fucking movie? Freddy kills a stoner by, like, the guy's smoking weed and looking at a cracked TV and is like, dude, you gotta see what's on this TV, haha. And it's like, it's a cracked TV, and it's like, you don't know what weed is. And then also, he goes into this one girl's dreams, and her father did... This is gonna be an R-rated episode. Her father did a bunch of horrible sexual stuff to her. And it's like, the tone is off. Freddy Krueger literally pushed a big wheel thing with a bunch of spikes for somebody to land on as they were falling out of a plane just a second ago, and pushed it, like, walking with his feet, like, pushing it, like, against his back, like he's Wile E. Coyote, and also this is in it. What the fuck, movie?
Yeah, that's pretty messed up. Does he kill the stoner by throwing different sized rocks at him?
No, he actually kills the stoner by putting him in a video game. And then, like, in the dream, he's in a video game, but in real life, while he's asleep, he's just, like, bouncing around, making sound effects, which makes no fucking sense, because that's not how it works.
Right, okay. That sounds, that sounds like the low point.
Yeah, no, and the movie's called Freddy's Dead, because it very, very, like, ad hoc introduces the concept of, oh, Freddy had a kid, and that kid ends up killing him at the end, which I kind of bought. I kind of liked the kid character, who is an adult in the movie, who's one of the characters, not going to say who. I don't fucking care, it's Maggie. I don't care about spoiling Freddy's Dead. Freddy's Dead spoils itself by being that movie.
Freddy's Dead arrived pre-spoiled.
Yeah. So, Freddy's Dead was 1991. Nightmare on Elm Street was 1984, and then Wes Craven's New Nightmare was 1994. It was the 10th anniversary. And I think it's the best made movie of the whole franchise.
Yeah, you mentioned that when you watched it, you were, like, legitimately scared.
Yes, yeah.
Which is crazy, because you do not frighten easily, I would say.
I truly don't, no. And the reason why I got scared is the premise of Wes Craven's New Nightmare is... it's like a meta movie starring Heather Langenkamp, the actress who plays Nancy, as like a fictionalized version of herself. And it's about, like, 10 years since Elm Street, haha, and that's like that's like the acting role you're most known for. And you have a kid now and all that stuff. And it's like, hey, we want you to come back for one more Freddy movie that Wes is working on. And then, like, it turns out Wes Craven's script is, like, taking place in the real world because there's an evil entity inside the story of Nightmare on Elm Street. And when they finished the series, the entity tried to escape, but it's still kind of Freddy Krueger. So it just, like, comes out as, like, more evil, fucked up Freddy Krueger.
An evil dark entity inspired by the films that you had seen.
Yeah. And, like, the entity has to kill Heather Langenkamp because it thinks that she's Nancy. And it targets her child, and who's, like, maybe, like, somewhere between 5 and 10, I want to say. But, like, bringing the age of Freddy's target down from 20-year-old teenager to actual child was, like, an inspired choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, this Freddy, who I'm going to keep calling Freddy even though it's the entity, this Freddy is, like, killing people in all the gory ways that Freddy Krueger normally does, with, like, the claws and the dragging people around the ceiling and all that good stuff. And, like, then he's, like, chasing after this, like, 7-year-old, and you're like, this guy's whole deal is killing kids, and he's already killed adults in, like, extremely gruesome ways in this movie so far. Like, I've never felt more actual fear that a child character played by an actual child might actually be in danger of being murdered instead of, like, a 20-year-old teenager. Like, when else could that possibly happen in a movie?
Yeah, you got it absolutely right. Yeah, that sounds like very frightening.
Like, in Goonies, you're never like, oh, the Goonies are gonna die. Like, you never think that.
Yeah, but if I was thinking in my head a lot when we rewatched it. Like, oh god, please let the Goonies die.
Yeah, I don't like how the Goonies talk over each other. Do you like how the Goonies talk over each other all the time in the movie?
I think it gets a little distracting when they talk
It's really
over each other.
I mean, it's like, why am I watching this movie? So before I watched New Nightmare, I intended to go back and rewatch 2, 4, 5, Freddy vs. Jason, and the 2010 remake, and all the Freddy vs. Jason follow-up comics. And I hear 2 and 4 are good, so I'm not saying I'm not going to go back and watch them, and I might check out the Freddy vs. Jason comics, but New Nightmare is just the perfect coda for any Nightmare on Elm Street marathon.
Yeah, I don't think you can top finishing with that, you know?
Yeah. Freddy vs. Jason came out, like, 9 years afterwards, and you know what?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't need to come out. It was not a very good movie. Freddy's super racist and weirdly sexual in it in a way that he never was previously. I mean, he was always kind of sexual, but never not like that.
I think time was not kind to that movie, especially it was in production hell for that period of time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Not Beyonce calls Freddy a slur. It's not great.
That's no good. But so let's talk a bit about the powers and interacting with Freddy on his turf, the dream world.
Yes. Let's talk about Freddy's whole backstory here. So, his backstory and how it relates to his powers. So, Freddy was, in life, Frederick Charles Krueger was a child murderer in Springwood, Ohio, who killed 20 kids. And he got off on a technicality. Like, he was arrested, and, like, somebody forgot to read him his rights or, like, signed the paperwork in the wrong place. And so it got declared a mistrial, and so he was able to walk free. The parents of Springwood got mad about that. They cornered him in this barn, and they set it on fire, and they lynched him. They killed him for all the murders he's definitely done. And according to Freddy's Dead, in that fire, 3 dream demons appeared and gave him the opportunity to be forever, and he accepted, and that's why he's Freddy Krueger. But, like, let's just not worry about that. Because that's also the same movie that's also the same movie where Freddy Krueger hits a guy with a bus, and it hits him so hard that he, like, breaks through, like, a plane of reality and just leaves, like, a hovering hole to the real world in the sky that's shaped like him.
Yeah, no, we'll leave that off to the side.
Yeah, so we don't need to worry about the dream demons. But...
Dreamins.
The Dreamins, yes, thank you. So Freddy comes back in 1981, I think, is when the first film is set, despite being made later. But I think that might be retroactive to make it make more sense with Dream Warriors. But Freddy comes back in the 80s to torment and kill the kids of the parents who killed him, who are now teenagers. And so, like, you know, he's kind of defeated the one time, and he starts coming back trying to possess a boy, and he gets defeated again, and he just kind of comes back because the Dream Warriors are the last of the Elm Street kids, and they're taking advantage of the fact that you dream about Freddy Krueger, and he can hurt you in your dreams and cause lasting damage. If you get hurt in your dreams, you get hurt in real life. If you die in your dreams, you die in real life.
Right. And they get inspired by this, and they attempt to turn the tables on him.
Yeah. If you can lucid dream, then you can control what happens in your dream, and you can change the reality of the dream just like Freddy can.
Yeah, those aren't powers that are unique to him. Sure, it's his playground, but the dreamer is almost in as much control as Freddy is.
Almost, except Freddy is invincible when he's in the dream realm, but when the kids are in the dream realm, they can definitely die.
True. Unless they dream that their power is being invincible, I guess.
Although, by the same logic, you can take something from the dream world. Like, if you take Freddy Krueger's hat with you when you wake up, you'll have his hat in real life. If you, grab a piece of his sweater, you'll wake up with his sweater in real life. If you're physically grappling Frederick Charles Krueger, and then your alarm wakes you up, he comes out into the real world, and then he's just a guy. And you can beat him up with a hammer and stuff.
Which is great. I'm very happy with that development. So yeah, that's it. And what are the dream? Are there any other powers that we should discuss or supernatural elements? Because I know in Dream Warriors, there are some additional abilities.
Describe.
I'm thinking about the girl who can bring people physically into and out of dreams.
Oh yes, yeah. I don't know if she can physically do that.
Oh.
I think it's more of
maybe
Nancy fell through the chair in that one scene early on in the movie, but I think that was more like Nancy was just dreaming about being in the same place where she already was, which only happens in Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't think that ever happens in real life for me.
I guess it's more about connecting people into a shared dream environment.
Yeah. Yeah, that never...
Yeah, it's networking dreams is what the powers consist of.
Yeah, that's... I don't know if you can do that in real life. But...
well...
We set out to try that, as a matter of fact.
Yes, to your point, and especially inspired by New Nightmare, it's look, if Freddy... and this entity are capable of breaking through the barriers of the movie. And if you can dream about Freddy Krueger, like you might dream about going to school or going on vacation.
Yeah.
Then you could, in theory, dream of and fight Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
In the real world, this world that we're in right now.
If you dream about Freddy Krueger, but you don't get hurt, you can't prove that's not really Freddy Krueger, because that is how Freddy Krueger does.
Yeah. You would have to, 100% your fight encounter, take no damage.
Yeah.
But yes, no, hypothetically, you would fight and defeat Freddy.
Yeah, true. Which, I thought I would be the perfect candidate for this.
What's your skill set coming into this?
Number one. All right, we didn't get a lot of a chance to chat during our Halloween episode last go around. By the way, this is Extendo-ween. This is Halloween. This is Halloween part 4. We are doing 4 episodes for Halloween, and this is Extendo-ween, where it. I never said it out loud.
That sounds like yeah, that sounds like Inspector Gadget's worst ability.
Can I be honest? I saw Freddy Krueger. With the extendo arms in the first scene that he's ever even physically in. And I was like, oh, good, Extendo-ween. Yes, perfect. And I thought it and I didn't say it out loud and I really should have.
So yeah, no, we're reaching past October and this is technically a Halloweener.
Yeah. But...
so that's worse. Okay, please.
All right. Getting back to the Extendo-weener. So, this past October, I went to a big famous haunted house kind of deal in Philly. Eastern State Penitentiary does a big thing every year. It's this old abandoned historical prison, and oh boy, monster fucker in a haunted house. Folks, like, I was not scared at all, but I came out of, like, this, like, weird spiral tunnel clown place, with, like, and I was just, like, looked over to my friend, and I was like, all right, so, fuck the snake dude from the beginning, kill the weird clown guy, marry the mushroom girl. Like...
Yeah, no, I would expect nothing less from you in such an environment.
Like, I put my hand kind of close to this, like, weird bog creature's hand, and the people who were with me were like, Allie, you can't touch them. And I was like, oh, shit. Yeah. And then I was like, I gotta be cooler about this. These are folks in costumes. They did not sign up for whatever the fuck I'm doing currently.
Yeah, yes, they did not want to be oogled like this.
I did not think this through entirely. Which...
I'm not locked in here with you.
Yeah. I'm not locked in here with you, unless you're into that. I had a bad experience with that last year where I was with a friend who, like, noticed my response to every monster was like, hey. Like, there was this creepy ghost girl who was following us, and he was just like, hey, can I get your number? And she, like, walked away disappointed, and I was like, dude, that's not how it works. Like, that shit's just gross.
Yeah.
No, that's fucked up. You can't do that. No. Can't do that. But...
Agreed.
Yeah.
But go on about the experience.
I mean, I don't know. If that's my reaction to scary stuff, then, like, how the fuck am I gonna get scared?
Yeah, I think Freddy, as a... like, just in person, doesn't physically... He's always, like, morphing and changing in the movies. Because I think in his default setting, he's a guy with, like, a shirt on and a hat.
Yeah. As much as New Nightmare did kind of scare me, which... This is a possible vulnerability. New Nightmare did scare me, and the only way to activate my fear apparently is to put kids in legitimate danger, which is Freddy Krueger's absolute whole deal, so that might be a vulnerability to exploit, you know?
Yeah, you don't want to get afraid of Freddy. Like, that's he wins in that scenario. You have to maintain your maintain a strong facade.
I thought about this. Adam, if you saw something scary in life, like, if something scary happened, would you, like, do the thing where you just, like, freeze in place and open your eyes really wide and open your mouth and emit, like, a high-pitched sound? It's like like that.
You mean screaming?
Yes, that's the word.
Yeah, I've been startled. I think is the main thing. I don't know if I've made any sounds like that. I think I have more of a flight instinct than stop and scream.
I really have more of a fight instinct. Like, if something startles me, I'll, like, cock my fists a bit, or, like, I'll just, like, close them. Like, I don't do the thing where I stand in one place and emit a high-pitched sound. I don't know what that says about me psychologically. Like, I just don't trust people to handle the scary thing better than I can.
Yeah, I guess there is a fight part of me in certain scenarios. I guess I'm thinking of I'm lying down in bed and all of a sudden there's like a big spooky bug like nearby.
Aww.
And like my instinct is kind of like ugh, but then it quickly becomes come here you fucker, like this is my house. This is.
Oh, like this is a real thing that might happen, not like a bug the size of a throw pillow.
No. I once had a dream like that. I was very young. I had a dream that I like going to the bathroom like to wash my hands for dinner. I opened the door and there's like a praying mantis that was like the height of the doorway. That comes to mind when I think of that. But I think it'd be a runaway. Situation more than just a shriek and holler.
Yeah.
But that's me.
When I do encounter a real life danger, as I did on Halloween itself, actually this year, my friends called me an Uber, and like I get into the dude's car and he's listening to some incel podcast, and I was like, can you not listen to that? Like, just don't. I don't want to hear about how this guy is talking about how like. about like how to get women or whatever. I don't just change it. And he was like, yeah, okay, sure. And then he changed it to Christian rock. And then like as we were driving from the Wisp, where me and my friend were hiking back to my place, we were passing through North Philly, and we were just passing church after church, and I was listening to these lyrics about, like, they're trying to take God's glory away. Christianity in America is threatened, and we gotta take up arms and kill all of the Jews. And there's just, like, church after church after church after church, and I just get, like, this panic attack, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get out here. Like, the first, like, semi-recognizable intersection I see, it's, like, still, like, 10 blocks away. And he's like, are you sure it's far? Well, he said, like, are you sure it's far? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. Thanks. See you later. And I just, like, opened the door, like, went out, and just, like, bolted. Just, like, nope. So that is how I react to actual fright.
Right, yeah, no, that's it seems like the same kind of flight instinct.
I told my friend to give him 0 stars. Yeah.
Yeah, if that's both of our instincts, then perhaps we have to go with a more passive, all right, I'm thinking hypothetically, imagining us in like a lucid dream setting first, like if we were to set up a like getting Freddy in our dreams.
Yeah.
It sounds like it has to be a little more passive then. It has to be like an anvil trap. Or like a something like a bunch of marbles from the slip-on first. Like I think we need like a Home Alone solution for Freddy if we're just going to be running away from him.
Right, yeah. So
which I'm all for. I don't want to get close to that man. He's gross and he does bad things with his weapons.
That is a fair call. Do we want to talk about why we want to kill Freddy Krueger? Well, let's list our grievances.
Oh, yeah. Let's start the list.
Let's start the list here. So, number 1, this is something I thought of just in my own like twisted, skewed vision. We also do a lot of shitty puns.
Yes, if you go through our episode titles, you will see a list. What might at first glance look like a script that Freddy might read.
It's like, well, yeah.
So yeah, no, that's our jam, not his.
Yeah, we also like get off our lawn. Number 2, all the child murder. That can't be good.
Of course.
No, yeah. No. Gotta have that for the kids. Yeah.
I don't think red and brown look good together.
Do you mean red and green?
Oh, it's green?
It is green. Hey, Adam, do you want to take a colorblind test really quick?
He's often lit in dark settings. Anyway,
red and green do not go together, actually. Which is also, like, in Freddy vs. Jason, not Beyonce calls him a slur that I can say and you can't, because he's wearing a Christmas sweater, quote unquote. And it's like, it doesn't make sense to invoke the stereotype of gay men are well dressed in wearing a sweater that is specifically designed by Wes Craven to include the 2 colors that are least pleasing to the human eye in combination. Like, red and green next to each other don't work.
A sweater that's like very like holy, and it's got his gross bubbling skin underneath it.
Yeah. Also, she says this with the most bisexual haircut I've ever seen. Well, 2003, this is exactly how I pictured your band would look.
So, I know we're going through like a Mean Girls list at the moment, but it's like, alright, the sweater's one thing, but the hat, I gotta say. That's a listening to Christian rock on Halloween nights. A hat.
Dude's got a milady fedora and has changed his pants one time since 1984. Is wearing 1960s men work boots and one single leathery ratty shitty glove with knives on the end. And like the worst thing you can say about his fashion is like actually being gay is bad. Like any amount of self-awareness could have fixed this problem, not Beyonce. Anyway.
I haven't seen all the movies.
List of grievances: encourages homophobia and was racist in that one movie.
I haven't seen all the movies. I do think that he has a lame weapon choice. I know that the glove is very iconic, but in terms of practicality, it doesn't seem like it's super sturdy. Right? And like if he was trying to kill a teenager who was like took any amount of fencing, like he'd be screwed. He wouldn't be able to get close enough.
I'm gonna put that under all the child murder. Includes lame weapon choice, because that is technically a critique of his child murder. Like, not only do we not approve of the child murder, you're not even doing the child murder well.
Yeah, you're nuts. Let's see. I think that he, I don't like how he got off on a technicality.
Mockery of the justice system.
Mm-hmm.
We rely on that, and like when it gets all higgledy-piggledy, then like everything gets the bedrock of society gets shaky, you know, when like these people abuse their power or like just some fucked up shit like this happens. ACAB, all Krugers are burned. Sure, I'll allow it.
It's messed up that he, you know, that he still sticks around to do bad things, even though he got like the most justice possible.
Yeah,
like he got vigilante justice delivered upon him, and he's still like stuck around like a shitty stain.
Yeah, there's like he's getting revenge and does not need to. Like he was in the wrong here.
He was very much in the wrong.
I don't think that's up for debate. So honestly,
so did the dream demons just like, you know, oh cool, you were on our list, we were paying attention since you killed 20 kids?
The dream demons come to the most evil person they can and make them into a Freddy Krueger. At that moment, Freddy Krueger was the evilest boy, the most special evil boy in the whole wide world. And so these weird piranha things just came up and were like, yum, 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 you can be Freddy Krueger now.
Do you have any other grievances against this guy?
Nightmares 4, 5, and 6.
That's a good point. Is this what do you call it, a franchise where there's more bad than good?
Counting the series, yes.
Yeah.
Nightmare 4 is apparently pretty okay still, but also in Never Sleep Again, the documentary, it seems like the Nightmare where the director of that movie was a real big sex pervert. So I'm going to count 4 as a bad one. We got our list of grievances. We got our motive. Now let's talk about our opportunity. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to dreams, like my history with dreaming, I'm a dream warrior, I think. I've talked before on the show about how I've had a lot of visions of, like, heaven and hell. Like, one time I dreamed I was in a big, like, golden kind of white tornado and there was lightning arcing all around, and I just heard a voice that sounded like my voice, but also like the voice of everyone I've ever heard just echoing in my head. And I could really feel myself not generating this thought, but I just heard, before anything was, I am.
Yeah, it's a pretty... You know, you had that dream. If you had that dream 2,000 years ago, there's a certain group of people you'd be hanging out with, you know?
Yeah. No, I was like that's the kind of thing these people are seeing. I also get those kind of dreams more often when I've been drinking and my sleep is more interrupted. Like, this happened a lot more in college.
Oh, yeah.
The only time I've ever almost died in my dream physically was when I had a sleep apnea scare during my big health anxiety year of 2019. Remember that, when I anxiety'd my way into an ambulance in like January of 2019, and everyone was like, you're just crazy right now. Like, who does that? And then the next year everyone was like, oh no. And I was like, oh, hey guys, welcome to the club. Oh my God, everybody I know is here. All right, I'm going to go see if we have enough jackets for everybody. Bar's over there. That's Janet. Say hi, Janet. All right, can we get these guys sorted? All right, cool. I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, everyone's on your level then.
Yeah, that was great.
But yes, that's the makeup of your dreams. Mine are very architecture based.
Hmm.
I find myself oftentimes going back through like settings that I'd been in or inspired by places I'd been. Like high school is a very common occurrence, but the high school of my dreams is always so much more elaborate. Looks more like a giant mall complex. That's a very it's a very interesting aspect. I think I've lucid. There's been a couple lucid dream things that occurred to me. One very recently. I think it was just with the way that the sun was coming into the room that I was sleeping in. Like it was for whatever reason just triggering me, and I kept feeling myself like reset. Like I would go do something in a dream, then reset. I'm back in bed, and I get out of bed and I do something else, and like it's a very when I dream about something, it's usually something that only tangentially like came across my radar. Like I hung out with the survivalist Bear Grylls once upon a time in a dream because I had like seen his picture on like a magazine in passing. So Alex, as you know, is very when she thinks of something, like when she's watching or reading a book, like she will immediately dream of that, and that's like almost like sitcom, like cartoon style, like lying in bed. And I just find that fascinating because it's nothing like that for me. It's if I think when I first watched like Coraline, for example, it kind of freaked me out. It was pretty scary. So literally to avoid thinking about it in my dreams, I like lying in bed, I would think about the movie and the parts that scared me a little bit. So that way, even when I eventually fell asleep, I would not dream of it because I was thinking of it, and like that's not how it's summoned.
Yeah, I think we all wish we dreamt like that.
Yeah, then there's which I would love to. Well, it's a good and bad, I guess, because. Yeah, if something's haunting you in the daytime, you don't want it to also haunt you during your sleep.
Yeah. The big recurring tropes in my dreams are like Too Big High School, Too Big Museum, /zoo/aquarium.
Ooh. That sounds... Well, yeah, that's tough because there's not like... My subconscious will populate the setting with things, and let me tell you, the most gullible person on Earth, maybe not gullible is the right word, but I've had some very just strong dream emotions before. Like there's some real stories and sagas and stuff like that unfold, and I'm just like sitting there and privy to it, and that would be very bad in a museum setting because you're the one that's populating everything. like so there's nothing new to learn. Yeah, the antithesis of a real museum.
Yeah, that does make sense. Although normally I do see something fucked up. Like if I focus on like a fish tank too long, I'll notice that there's like a bunch of headless rabbits swimming through there. One time I was in the airport in Dallas and I saw this tank full of headless swimming rabbits. That was wild. Normally when I die in my dreams, it's like apocalyptic rather than physical injury. Like I've died before in my dreams to like the Yellowstone supervolcano, for example, but I've never been like stabbed or shot or something.
Yeah. For me, I'm more woken up by a fear than than an actual like physical harm. I will say at the couple occasions it was falling based. As in, like, I'm on top of a stairwell and I slip off and fall down and I wake up. So there's a couple of those. That said, one of my favorite things I've ever done in a dream, and this I would call this lucid, but it was close, was just jumping around like everything was a big old trampoline. Like that's just that sensation that you have when you are on a trampoline. Like that, for some reason, it's like that's where I want to be. That's ideally what I'd like to feel, given control of my own dreams.
That's nice. The times I've lucid dreamt, it's mostly been like fire powers. Sometimes floating, but only ever in service of the fire powers. Like I floated up and shot some fireballs at a snow leopard one time, I can remember.
Yeah, that kind of weightlessness. I've definitely levitated in a dream before.
Oh yeah, you throw yourself at the ground and miss.
Yeah. And okay, so if yours power going into... I am thinking of the scene in Dream Warriors where like everyone's kind of showing off their dream powers. And jumping around real good sounds a little bit like Like the lady that could just do a bunch of like acrobatics.
Yeah, there was always like the acrobat character in 80s movies, but she also is the one who like pulls everybody into the dream. So it makes sense that her power is also kind of lame to compensate for that.
Yeah, it's like when Kitty Pryde can also like send people back through time because walking through walls is lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe some of these tropes might come up in our attempts to find Freddy Krueger and kick his ass.
Yes.
This is what we decided during the weekly podcast meeting last week, where we were trying to come up with a Freddy Krueger premise because it was 100 episodes after Jason. And I watched New Nightmare, and I was like, what if we just looked for Freddy Krueger in the dream world and got his ass?
Yeah, and so we shook hands and committed to, all right, we're going to try and dream up Freddy.
We're going to try and have a dream with Freddy where we kick his ass. If we have a dream and Freddy's in it, that counts. But if we don't kick his ass, then what's the point? If we take any damage in the dream and we wake up and the damage hasn't actually happened to us, that wasn't Freddy, it was just a dream. So we have to we have to pitch a no-hitter.
Yeah, no-hitter Freddy in their dreams. Over the past week, I have had 0 dreams whatsoever.
Well,
I don't know what's wrong with me, or maybe I'm just too cool right now. Like, I've got too much on my mind during the waking day. But no, it's just been nothing. It lights out, then I wake up, and nothing I can recall, at least.
Yeah. So anyway, it's 2 days before, like, I got one night left to kill Freddy Krueger.
Oh, yeah.
One night at Freddy's, you might say.
Title drop. Roll credits.
So I watch Never Sleep Again, which is a documentary that they made about the history of the Elm Street series. And I just listened to the actors and the special effects guys and like Wes Craven talk. And I just felt inspired to make this little sound effect. That's the sound of 2 takes of me running a knife across a textured plastic kitchen scale, panned all the way to the left, followed very quickly by 2 more takes of that, panned all the way to the right. And I added a sound of my elbows cracking and like a gushy flesh sound that I made with my mouth of just like, I can't do it.
Yeah, the mouth is a great sound effect resource.
Yeah. And the end result is like when you wear headphones, it sounds like Freddy with his right-handed glove is slashing your head off from like left to right. And it was just really fun to make.
Oh, okay.
And I think there's kind of a delight in making those slasher movies.
Well, then, that's kind of... People like the gross bodies. People like the fact that we're just kind of big water balloons full of blood.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what slasher movies celebrate. It's like, look, we're just all a bunch of goo. Wouldn't it be funny if someone came around and kind of popped all of us, like in a row?
It's fun to figure out how to make the knives and the blood look real, and it's fun to play with the audience's sense of tension, and it's fun to act scared and pride yourself on how good your scream sounds. Mine's bad. It's very fun to play like a menacing, cackling villain. And it's fun to watch people have a good time making a movie. So you need to have like a foot out of reality of the film to have fun watching a slasher movie. And maybe it took me until, a New Nightmare to realize that. Like, maybe the meta elements really helped me enjoy the whole concept more.
Okay. That sounds like it's correct to context.
So, anyway, the dream.
Yes, please.
I get super into it. I have a vial of holy water that I went down to the basilica, and I just grabbed a vial of that stuff. I put it at my bedside, along with 2 swords from Halloween, this stone that I found as a kid that is in the exact shape of a knife that I found in a stream somewhere, and I figure like, well, either I'm the chosen one or I got to give this to the chosen one when the shit hits the fan, you know?
Yes, I know the stone.
Yeah, I put that there, and just like some like rubbing alcohol and a lighter, because fire, obviously, and I was just like, suit me up, Uncle Alfred. Like, we're doing this. I'm grabbing everything in my house that could possibly be anti-Freddy Krueger. And I'm just like putting it on the side. Mm-hmm. And I take a page from the astral projection TikTok teens. And I record a guided meditation to work like a script. So I record this guided meditation of like, breathe in, breathe out. We're going to go kick Freddy Krueger's ass. And I'm like kind of setting up the outline of like how the setup for the dream goes. You know, like I'm setting myself up for that. And
Yeah, you're like the architect in Inception. You're like really just planning out every step of the environment you're about to step into.
yeah, I stay up late and don't get any sleep. And then I set a timer for 97 minutes. It takes 7 minutes to fall asleep when your head hits the pillow, and then it takes 90 minutes to start dreaming. So then, like, I wake out of some dream, I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just started listening to the guided meditation, and, like, the dream persisted as follows. Oh, you and I are just sitting on the edge of a riverbank in Bartram's Garden, which is a place in Philly. And we have a little, like, picnic cooler between us. You are dressed like you are ready for work with, like, jeans and, like, a button-up shirt. I am dressed and look exactly like Nancy Thompson. Because Freddy Krueger, this was my big issue. Freddy Krueger doesn't just kill everybody. He kills...
He usually sticks to Nancy Thompson.
He usually sticks to Nancy Thompson and the other Elm Street kids. So if I want to get Freddy Krueger, I gotta be a better worm for Freddy, you know?
Yeah.
I gotta, like, make the bait look good. So I am dressed like, or am Nancy Thompson, it's unclear. And the Freddy Krueger hand comes out of the cooler, and it knocks over. I grab your hand, I pull you over the cooler, we run up the riverbank, we can hear his laughter, and, like, the roots and vines and stuff, and the trail are turning into, like, a steel grate, and, like, pipes and everything of, like, a boiler room. And then I get separated from you, and I can hear Freddy laughing, and I can hear the little rhyme of, like, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. By the time it gets to never sleep again, I duck. Over my head comes, like, the shing of, like, the claws, and then pulling back on the extendo arm is, like, a backlit Freddy. I turn around and start running, and he's just like, take a deep breath, bitch, because I was meditating. And then, like, I start running, and I'm running all the way to what looks like as if there were, like, a little, like, continuation of the boiler room that connects around the rim of the caldera at Mount Doom. Like, you can look in and you can literally see the little, like, platform that, like, is Isildur and Elrond and Frodo and Sam all walk on. So at that point, I see you on the other side, and I just kind of decide, like, all right, it's go time, let's do this. And I manifest this, like, golden, like, thing that's, like, half, like, full plate armor and also kind of fire and, like, made of golden light. And I have a sword and a cape but no shield. And then suddenly we're at the little island in the lava flow from the end of Return of the King with Freddy. I feel like I pull you down to another dream level. And
I just want to say, great location, like, very on brand Freddy location.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like a what we call it, it's the fantasy elements of the boiler room. Like, everything that you need is all there.
Exactly, yeah. But also fantasy. So, like, you're in half of this dream.
Yes, no, this is a good place for me to be. Hypothetically.
That was part of it, was we decided, like, it doesn't count if we're not both there, because we both have to do the episode. So you did have this dream, you just don't remember.
Right. Go on.
So you're dressed like, you look like this awesome, like, telekinetic, like, cyborg kind of looking dude. I think you have sunglasses. And,
okay.
And Freddy just, like, goes to say something, and he kind of winces at the fire, at the, like, lava flow. And you, I distinctly remember, say something like, afraid of the fire, Freddy? And then I was like, well, some like it hot, bitch. Like, I think I really tried to fight Freddy at his own game with, like, the corny one-liners, because, like, I can rattle those off.
Sure.
Like, we start fighting, we do a little, like, shing-shing with the claws and the swords and all that, you know, and then, like, Freddy actually stabs you. You reverse time like Doctor Strange and, like, unstab yourself, and then you, like, throw this little, like, mandala thing, like, around Freddy's head to hold him in place, and, like, this little, like, purple swirling thing. And then I throw this like Green Lantern like golden light spear through his right shoulder, and I like do a cool slide that's really impractical. And with my left non-dominant hand, I'm bringing the sword up through like under his left ribs, like trying to get to his heart because I know that that's how it's gonna kill him. And then like he just kind of like does like a Man of Steel Sonic Boom thing, like it's very anime, it's very Dragon Ball actually, and just kind of like poof, and like throws us off. And then
it's bad that he's also got those kind of powers.
Well, yeah, it's the Dream Realm. You know, we didn't sign up for like a not Freddy Krueger fight.
Yeah, it's fine.
You already got stabbed, technically. And so then, like,
I did.
You get thrown back, like, you're starting to get, like, a little singe from the lava. I get thrown back in the opposite direction. I get the sense somehow that you are calling the Eagles to get us out of there, which makes sense for you. You have, like, a young Gandalf energy.
He's very young, but yes.
I mean, compared to Gandalf, yes. He was, like, 6,000 years old, yeah. Anyway, Freddy's got me pinned down, and, like, he's got his claws, like, reaching towards me, and he says, like, when I snap my fingers, you'll be dead, bitch. He doesn't punctuate everything he says with bitch, but I think it's funnier if he does.
Sure.
And so, like, I can feel, like, it's as if in a three-dimensional way, this setting existed on paper and the edge was being burned. Like, the three-dimensional version of that is happening at this point. Like, I'm getting so, like, freaked out that the dream is collapsing. Like, you know, when you fall right before you hit the ground.
Yeah.
Like, you never dream about the impact. So, like, there's this, like, golden fire heading towards us, leaving, like, a trail of, like, a white void in its wake. I push off on this piece of wood that's under me for some reason, which doesn't make sense for Mount Doom, but it's a dream, whatever. And I'm pinning Freddy down, and then, like, the fire kind of reaches him, and just like how, like, I'm prepared to be like, well, all right, this is going to be a Pyrrhic victory, I guess. And then, like, the fire wants to burn the pathogen in my brain. It wants to burn the invader and not me. So it's like lightning striking a tree, but not the ground. So Freddy burns up, and, like, his eyes blow up like the end of Crystal Skull, and I'm on top of him, and I'm just like, night, night, bitch. Which is, like, because you can't kill Freddy Krueger without a one-liner.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's how you kill him for sure. So then he's a pile of ash. You and I are standing in a white void. And I just look at you and I say, Freddy's dead, bitch. And then we high-five, and the high-five wakes me up. Which, like, doesn't make sense because, like, first off, that's a rude thing to call you. And second off, like, even Freddy doesn't use bitch at the end of every sentence. Like, it's approaching rock bottom of, like...
It's like how in every version now Yoda talks backwards.
Yeah.
Like every line versus... It's just he's been flanderized over time. But your dream self, you're like, look, I know it's a Freddy fight. I know the important stuff. And, like, number one of the important stuff is we need some bitches in there.
We need to say the word bitch at the end of every sentence, bitch. It's like, I don't understand your accent.
Bitch.
Yeah. But no, yeah. So, like...
We did it!
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Well, very good. I'm glad that you were able to adapt your sleep in such a way and, like, surround yourself with all the... You were very focused on this.
I was.
I think that's what enabled you to make this come to fruition.
Yeah, I kind of had to force myself to go into emergency REM sleep by only getting, like, 2 hours of sleep last night.
Ugh.
So, yeah, that's... I don't know if I would rank the lucid dreaming as a 10 out of 10 for me in the future, but, like, I don't know, I might try something a little lower key than that again. I certainly want to try the guided meditation dealie.
Well, tonight we will sleep soundly.
Assuming the election results come in.
Actually, that's a good point. We'll be losing sleep for different reasons tonight.
Yes, but Freddy will be dead.
Yes, Freddy will no longer be a pain on America.
All right.
So let us take him to the final raiding place. Now that he is burning in a volcano.
All right, I have an interesting point to make about the final raiding place.
What do you got?
In the Slender Man episode.
Episode,
I think that's 12. I established
11,
the precedent.
12.
12, yes. I knocked Slenderman down from a 10 to a 5 because of child abductions. In the Frankenstein episode, I knocked Frankenstein from a 10 to a 6 for child murder. And then in the Kool-Aid Man episode, I raised Kool-Aid Man from 0 to 2 for being a friend to children, claiming that it's the opposite of what is normally. So the precedent is either -5, -4, or -2 for killing a child. 99% of what Freddy Krueger does is definitely kill kids. So Freddy Krueger's child killing penalty should be anything from -98 to -245 out of 10.
Are you just going to keep it that range?
Freddy Krueger, according to the Dead Meat Wiki, has explicitly killed 49 children and is implied to have killed more. If it's -2 out of 10 per kid killed, we're looking at -98. If it's -5 per kid killed, we're looking at -245. And in one of our talkback episodes, I snapped the final rating place clean. So I ask you, Adam.
Yes.
As a fellow Supreme Justice of the final rating place, do we accept pre-snap precedents?
I think that's it was previously inconsistent. I do think that keeping a negative score for child endangerment / murder is a good precedent to have.
Okay. All right.
The amount I'll leave up to you.
I mean, I think the maximum penalty, it is killing kids.
Yeah, it's not even just bothering them. It's full on killing them. So there you go.
Yeah, so Freddy Krueger, I would normally rate 10 out of 10, just because it's a monster that introduced me and got me, turned me around on a whole genre of monster movies.
Yeah,
and that's really impressive. And that's a 10 out of 10. But also killed 49 kids, -5 per kid killed. That's going to be the new rule, I think. So,
-5.
Yeah, we're looking at -235 out of 10 for our lowest rated monster, but he did break our one rule.
Yeah. If I were to give him a score, I don't want to rank him high, because he does kill kids.
But don't worry, that's taken into account.
Yeah, you're correct. I'm going to give him a 7.7. A, it looks like cool little sharp razors. B, I think that he's got the I think he's an excellent monster, and his domain, dreams, is very fun to explore. I think that's a really great aspect that allows the creators of his films to go buck wild and have a really good time. And that's everything you want from a monster. I think the fact that even his own lore, his origin gets kind of messed up, works against him. And there's definitely an 80s, what's the worst thing we can think of vibe to a lot of his deal. So I don't know how well that aspect ages, but that's why a 7.7 on this side.
Can I suggest a small bump up for that?
What's that?
7.777, so that it's 4. It's 4 slashies.
Yeah, that is a great correction. Good job.
Thank you. So it's 7.777 minus 245, whatever that totals out to.
Yeah, that's the score for him. Still very, very, very low.
Yes.
I think that's great. He belongs on the other side of the world compared to Jason.
Yeah, it's the only way we had to separate them with an entire final rating place and 100 episodes.
Yeah, so hopefully they won't be clashing anytime soon in our area. Thank you for joining us for another wonderful episode. Next time we are going to be celebrating. We'll be celebrating a part of this land, the part that we didn't ruin before we got here.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, pick up sticks. 7, 8, lay them straight. 9, 10, a big fat hen.
The chicken's head slides off, then Freddy's head pops out, and then out of the wing, the claws come out, and it's try these chicken fingers, bitch. And then he goes to pin somebody down, and he's like, what are you, chicken? Ha ha ha! And then he kills them. And it's and the Wikipedia synopsis for this episode says, hinting that Freddy Krueger may not have been defeated after all. Freddy Krueger comes back as a giant chicken, hinting that he may not have come back after all.
you.